Hello everyone and welcome to the third Broughy Verified episode, and in this video we're going to be focusing on the best 16 player races that you guys have created. Now, it is quite difficult to find good 16 player races. You know, when you look at what Rockstar gave us with things like the Commute and Route 68, they're all pretty much boring races, you know, long highway races, that kind of stuff. And a lot of races that are actually promoted as 16 player races aren't even suitable for them, you know, they're too small or anything like that. Obviously any race is suitable with non-contact on, but I'm looking for proper racetracks here. So yeah, you know, it is quite difficult to find good 16 player races, and that's why this video has taken such a long time. But I think you'll be happy with the results. You know, these races are the cream of the crop really. You know, these playlists that you're about to see are the absolute best if you want to be racing with 16 people, all close quarters, and have some good battles. So just as a little reminder, the links to the playlists for these jobs will be in the description down below. When you click that, you'll be taken to this page, and if you click add to game in the top right, that will add the playlist to your game, and you can access that through the my bookmarked playlists section in game. However, you can also add each individual job to your game by clicking on the job and pressing add to game at the bottom, and you have to do that with all of the jobs. So it's up to you how you do it, but as long as you add them and play them, that's fine by me. So this is actually called Broughy Verified 5. Now the reason for that will become apparent later on when I talk about it. And they do have quite a similar feel across Xbox 360 and PS3, but I'll talk about the Xbox 360 version first. So the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit was what we finished all the other playlists with, whereas this one it started because it does give a nice little feel of how the playlist is going to go and the kind of races you can expect. Next up we've got the Sunabuzu Grand Prix by AOE SAC, which uses some really interesting roads around that Sandy Shores area. Following that, we've got Boondock Grand Prix by RTN94, which again uses some really interesting roads, this time in the more industrial area of Los Santos in that southeast section. Following that, we've got Outer City Raceway by Records 070, which has some really nice areas in using the highways and the central section of Los Santos. And then we've got Mirror Signal Maneuver by Blue Eyed Malice, which is located in and around Mirror Park, and that's a really nice place to have a racetrack in my opinion. Following that, we've got Those Damn Hills by Steve Lots of Numbers, which uses the hills really well and goes past the dam as well and has a nice little city section. And Pro Racer GP is next by Underdog NL80, which is inspired by the Spa-Francorchamps track, so you'll probably notice a few similarities there. Following that is Simeon's Circuit by Hey Doug Jr., which uses the area around Simeon's garage and the surrounding roads. And the penultimate race in the playlist is City Sprint by Full Metal, which is a really fast-paced race and is really nice to drive. And to finish it off, we've got the North Loop, which is my latest race, and since it's more of a longer endurance type race, it does finish off the playlist really nicely. So those were the 10 races in Broughy Verified 5 for the Xbox 360, and now we'll do another 10 races for Broughy Verified 5 for the PS3, which does have a very similar feel, and it's remarkable how similar the races are. So obviously again we start with the Los Santos Grand Prix circuit, exactly the same as before. But next up we've got Alamo Grand Prix by Doodle Monopoly, which again is set in the Sandy Shores type area, but it's obviously a little bit of a different track, but it's really technical and quite an interesting one. And after that we've got Southeast LS Grand Prix by Zenzi23, which again is in that southeast industrial section of Los Santos, and uses some really interesting parts of that and has a nice little hairpin. Elgin Raceway is next and has some really nice areas where you can actually see other drivers on the road and uses the inner part of Los Santos really well. And that's followed by another Mirror Park race with Popular Circuit by Alfie's Legend. Obviously another Mirror Park circuit, it's going to be very good because there's some really nice roads around there. Apex Predator follows that by Tong 1971, which is a really good race, really fast paced using the hills and then a little bit of a city section. Followed by Rockford Hills Circuit by Lancer Evo WRC, which again has some really fun areas around that Rockford Hills area, and quite technical by the end of the race. Del Perro Split follows that by Blaws. You know, really interesting area to have a racetrack. It's not seen very often. And that's followed by Snake's Prix by Snake 14. Again, a really fast-paced race, and it's a really enjoyable one to drive, just like the previous playlist. And then North Loop finishes it off again as a nice little end to the playlist once more. And that's it guys, those are all the best races, in my opinion, the best 16 player races that you're likely to find. So I would obviously love to show all of the races in full and, you know, do a full commentary about how good each race is and all the little nuances of every race to let you know just what I like about them all. But I just don't have the time to do that. It would take probably 5,000 videos to get through them all. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of a clip like I did with the other playlist, the other videos, where you just see a little bit of a clip from each of the races, about 30 seconds from each race, showing some interesting parts and some interesting areas of each race. So whilst you have a look at that, I'll talk about a few other things. And basically, there are a few really interesting parts of all of these races. A lot of them have very good prop usage. They all feel like real racetracks. Some of them have areas where you can see other cars in different parts of the racetracks, like what my own races do. And obviously, all of them are just really well made, and that's what makes them stand out. Now, I have mentioned before that I, helped the people who made these races in some ways, in some of the races, to either amend certain sections, improve some checkpoint placements, things like that, just to, make sure these races are the best that they can be. And I was really pleased that everyone was so happy to do that, and really help their races improve as well. So these races, a lot of these races do have a little bit of my DNA in them, if you like. My creative juices have flowed through other people's races, I guess you could say. They haven't been drastic changes or anything like that. Just little improvements here and there, just to make races flow a little bit better, or be suitable for a proper 16-player playlist. So you can be assured. I've done a lot of testing with all of these races. You can be assured that these are all really well made races that you are going to enjoy with 16 players, and are suitable for that kind of racing as well. So yeah, I hope you guys give these a go. Definitely download the playlists. I've created the playlists in such a way that they work well together. You get a variety of different tracks. You aren't bombarded with all of the tracks sort of in the hills all at once, or all of the tracks in the middle of Los Santos. It's well made to kind of break things up a little bit and keep things fresh. And I think the playlists themselves are the best way to play these races, but obviously you can download the races yourselves and include them in your own playlists if you like. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. Download the playlists, give them a go. I will just say that there is one little problem at the moment. The playlists are a little bit bugged. There's something wrong with Rockstar's playlists section that means that the North Loop isn't the last race on both of the playlists. I will amend that when it gets fixed, but obviously at the moment the North Loop is the second last race of each playlist, and I don't want that to be the case. The order that you see in this video is the order that they should be. So it's also quite remarkable how similar the playlists are across Xbox 360 and PS3. Now that's obviously in some way by design, by how I've ordered the playlists. For example, the Sandy Shores race is second in both playlists. Then it moves to the sort of the industrial southeast section, and then you've got like a more central section, and then the Mirror Park race, then the race in the hills. I have designed them so that the races do fit together like that. But I also, I didn't particularly have that in mind when I chose the races that I wanted to be verified. That's just how it's worked out. I had one hills race, one Mirror Park race. It just seems that some areas are quite good for races, and some areas are more popular than others, obviously. But yeah, it's worked out quite well that they all have both playlists on PS3 and 360 have a very similar feel to them, use very similar races in similar areas, and even the names of the first couple of races on both playlists are quite remarkably similar as well, in terms of 3 Grand Prix races and then a raceway. It's quite interesting how that's worked out, and that is purely by coincidence. But all of these Broughy Verified races are pretty much exclusively what I'm going to be racing. So if I'm racing PS3 or 360, whether it's on a subscriber lobby, live streaming, or just racing on my own, it will be one of the Broughy Verified playlists, no doubt, or some of the Broughy Verified races without a playlist, because they are just really well made, good solid races that you're going to get something good from. When it comes to using Rockstar races and things like that, you just never know what's going to come up in the menus at the end of a race. And I don't really, a lot of the Rockstar races, especially for 16 players, are a bit poor. So yeah, that's why there are 10 races in this playlist, because they're just the 10 best races that you could possibly find, in my opinion, for 16 players, and that's when played properly as well, not with non-contact or anything. If you want really good races, these are the playlists that you should be using, in my opinion. So why is this called Broughy Verified 5? Obviously the first 3 playlists we've had are Broughy Verified 1, 2 and 3. They were all 8-player playlists, and theoretically the next one, the 16-player one, should have been Broughy Verified 4. But that's not how I decided to do it, because at the moment I still have in mind what I'm going to do for Broughy Verified 4 and Broughy Verified 6 in terms of those playlists. I obviously don't know the actual tracks that I'm going to use for the most part, but I know how those are going to take shape, and I want the playlists, the Broughy Verified playlists, to be kind of to make sense going forward as well. So the Broughy Verified 4 playlist is going to be another 8-player playlist, and Broughy Verified 6 is going to be another 16-player playlist. So that's why this is currently Broughy Verified 5, because I want this one to be kind of the first of the 16-player playlists, and then all the 8-player playlists are the first 4 in the terms of what they're titled as. So yeah, that's pretty much why this is Broughy Verified 5. All you need to remember is that Broughy Verified 5 is kind of the cream of the crop. It's the absolute top-notch 16 players. If you want the best racing that you can get with a high amount of people, Broughy Verified 5 is the absolute best playlist for that. Now that's not to take anything away from Broughy Verified 3 or even the Rockstar created races in the first 2 playlists. They're all very good, but with it being 8 players, you can't have as many people in, obviously. The races are just as good, but these are for 16 players, and that's what makes them set apart from the rest, I guess you could say. So be sure to give these races a go. Obviously, go back and have a look at the other 2 videos where I've showcased some other races. If you haven't already, add Broughy Verified 1, 2 and 3 to your games as well, because all of the races in those playlists are going to be great races, and they will provide some fantastic racing for you to have, and are some fantastic tracks. So I want my name, I guess you could say, to be synonymous with really good tracks. So that's why I'm putting my name and put so much effort into actually getting these tracks to be as good as they can be, and that's not just for this playlist, that's for all the other playlists as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I hope you do try out all of the tracks and give them a go and really enjoy those as well. I'll be hosting some lobbies with these tracks as well. Obviously with 16 players it should be really good, and I'll host some lobbies with all of the other playlists, especially the Broughy Verified 3, because I haven't really played with those that much, so I really want to get back to it now that my schedule is back on track and I can actually play a bit more. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I really appreciate your support. I have just hit 10,000 subscribers, which is great, and I'll get my 10k Q&A video up as soon as possible. So thanks a lot for your support as always. Be sure to give these tracks a go because they're all fantastic. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Leave all your comments down below. Let people know what you think, especially if you've raced the tracks. Come back and let the creators know what you think. And thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time.